Very good afternoon and welcome to the live coverage of ThePapare.com's game of the Dialog Rugby A Division League. It's a grudge battle between CRNFC in the red shirts on the left of your screen and the home boys and the favourites Navy in the blue shirts on the right of your screen. It's going to be a really important game for both teams because these are the two unbeaten teams in the league. I don't think there's any other team that's unbeaten and looking good so far in this Dialog Rugby A Division League so far. And these are the two unbeaten teams who are meeting in the third week of the Dialog Rugby Championship. It's going to be hard going for CRNFC, who will definitely be the underdogs because Navy have already scored about 100 points already this season, and that's purely without their big man Setefano Takao, who has returned from Fiji and will take his place in the midfield today. And without him, they've scored already 100 points in 2 games. CRNFC haven't managed that much. They've managed just about 35 or 36 points in the 2 games that they have played so far, and they've been much closer than the games that Navy have played, even though that has been against less opposition. The battle in up front will probably be won by Navy, who have almost a Sri Lanka front 5 in Eranga Swarnatilaka, Achala Pereira, and Terence Henry, backed up by Hasita Pereira and Sharo Fernando. Riza Mubarak gets play underway, and with the wind at their backs, Navy will be attacking in the most favourable side because they've already got the sun behind them as well. So that'll make life pretty difficult for the CRNFC fullback Rochan Hettiarchi, who has been one of their best players. And despite that sun, CRNFC unable to make any headway in that restart, showing the weakness in that area of the game as well. So the referee from Spain, referee Martin, has awarded the first scrum of the game. And let's see how this goes with the big Navy front 5 really putting some pressure on. There you go. You can already see the difference. Halafihi goes off the back. Halafihi pushed into touch in the end by Sasanka Aryaratna, but already in the early stages, CRNFC scrum already under pressure. Shahim Singalakshana, Trinity Lion, joins me in the commentary box. And it's going to be a long day for CR if they can't compete in those scrums, Shahim.
Yes, Shanaka. Navy are going to attack from the word go, Shanaka. CR have to have a solid defense pattern and try and stop the hard-hitting players of Navy. CR setting up a maul there. Putting in a box kick. Coming under his Dabare. Good tackle on him. Passing it to Riza Mubarak. Riza Mubarak taking the ball into contact. Penalty there for Navy. Not releasing the tackle.
Penalty there given away by Poppy Farrell, well within kicking range. Dilan Soisa with the box kick to try and clear, but it fell into the arms of Chamara Dabare, who did really well to get that back into the hands of Riza Mubarak, who made a good run. Good to see Mubarak back in running form. He's a very good kicking fullback, very safe under the high ball, but attack is a part of his game that he needs to improve, that he needs to join the line and actually make that extra man count for the Navy team, and hopefully he'll be able to add that facet to his game this year when he's playing behind a superb forward pack. And some excellent line out in almost the identical position for Navy, and Sharo Fernando goes up. Well sacked by CRNFC. They're using the tactic and the referee's allowing it. CR up quickly from their line speed, but that's a terrible pass by Srinath Surya Bandara, who's starting at fly half for the Navy. Riza Mubarak tries to clear it up, and now it's available once again for Suri. Gives the long cutout pass to Eranga Swarnatilaka, but there's been a knock forward in the meantime, and it looks like Navy will have another scrum. So Surya Bandara starting at fly half. Shahim, I think that's his best position. Do you think he should go to scrum half, or do you think you like him at fly half as well?
I like him at fly half, Shanaka, because Navy have an amazing asset in the form of Pushpa Kumar. I think he suits in the shoes of a scrum half, and Surya Bandara will do a pretty good job at fly. It's interesting to see Navy trying to send it wide from the start of the game, Shanaka. What do you think the tactic is on this?
Well, I think they'll back their 3/4 to run through the CRNFC defense. That's a surprising One against the head for CRNFC. Dilanka Pereira comes away with it, but great strength by Rajapaksa to hold him up. And now Papi Farrell, the Ponsonby player, straightening the line and coming back on the inside to give his scrum half a little bit of time to clear. This is Billy James Ropiha starting. Ball seemed to go forward off a Navy hand. Referees let it go. And CRNFC still have it just outside their 22. Nipuna Devinder. CR will need to get out of this danger area before trying to play their rugby. And another knock forward. So it's been about 4 knock forwards on the trot for CRNFC. They've got to try and hang on to the ball and not give easy opportunities. Navy are still clearly settling in, but I like this tactic of trying to run wide. They've got real power and pace. Lee Kegel at number 12, and then you're looking at Setefano Takao, the Fijian 7th captain. Shahim, you're not going to get anybody who's more dangerous one-on-one than him in probably world rugby at the moment. So that's what they're looking to do, and I can't fault that tactic.
Yushan, some amazing players in the Navy line there. Setefano playing a major role there. He coached the national 7 side as well. That shows his experience. And it will be interesting to see what they do from the set piece. Suryaban Pushpakumar running it on the blind side there. Well tackled there by the CR player. Good defense though from CR. Shanaka Navy are putting some real good pressure early in the morning. And what do you think about the CR defense today?
Well, it's held so far, and Navy have had quite a few opportunities. Shahim, you're absolutely right. That kick doesn't go to touch. It's taken quickly by the 2 foreigners for CRNFC, Papi Farrell and Billy James Ropiha. And now Suranga Pushpakumara waits for it again, but his forwards look to pick and go. Can't blame them for that. They've got severe weight advantage. And Srinath Surya Bandara putting the little chip in. He's so good at this, but that ball seemed to come off his hands. That's a real shame. Srinath Surya Bandara saw the acres of space behind the first line of defense. And CRNFC standing away from that ruck, not committing themselves, and actually trying to stand off and get their line speed going up to the attacking players much faster. But Surya Bandara spotting that from the fly half position, and just a bounce of the ball could have left him in for that first try of the game.
Yashan, a good covering defense by the fullback Rochana Hetarachi, putting some pressure on Surya Bandara after an amazing chip kick there.
Yes, Rochana has been the form man for me in this CRNFC backline. Couple of changes from last week. We have Heshan Maduranga. Heshan Maduranga coming in to the wing. Kiria, as he is known, the former Science College player. He's on the left wing. And Billy James Ropiha comes in place of Robert Malnick. Malnick has dropped to the bench, but no doubt we'll see him feature. He was struggling with the heat last week, but for the first time it's a CR scrum. And no doubt the big Navy 5 will look to put some severe pressure on this scrum and try and turn this ball over. It's pretty much a Sri Lanka pack without Bilal Hassan. Halafihi is playing where Hassan would usually play. He's away in the United States finishing up his degree, so he'll be available from next year. Papi Farrell comes in off the back. Good channel 1 ball from the CR forwards. Sasank Aryaratna clears well, and Dilan Soiza gives it to his captain. He can't kick it out because it was taken back. But good cover from Risa Mubarak, but it doesn't matter because the Navy players were offside at ruck time. So that was good work in the scrum from CRNFC Shahim. They got back quickly to Papi Farrell and he made good yards.
Yashan, keeping the composure there in the scrum in a really vital place in the field. It's good to see CR getting the basics right, Chanaga. In the red zone, getting the ball to the fly half kicking out.
Yes, absolutely. They seem to be improving week by week. They were better on Wednesday than they were last Saturday than they were in their opening game. And that penalty was put into touch. So one area where Sia have been struggling is the line out. So let's see what they do here. Dilanka Pereira, it's a 5-man line out, so it'll go to Rajat Abekun in the middle. Well done there. And it's a quick ball for Dylan Soisa. Papi Farrell in midfield takes it off Ashan Di Costa. Sasankari Ratna goes in, but Danushka Pereira competes well at the breakdown. Kanchan Ramanayaka plays at scrum half. Good ball out to Dilanka Pereira, who's standing outside in the 13-14 channel, and Billy James Rapiha. Seemed like it was a knock-on, but referee's letting it go. Lucky to get away with that one, Sia. Dylan Soisa. Costa. Costa gives it to Ramanayaka. Kanchan Ramanayaka puts the chip onto his left foot just over the head of Riza Mubarak, who gets back and clears. So a good passage of play from Sia. This ball still bouncing. Great kick from Mubarak. He will now force his opposite number to put it into touch. And the Dharmaraja schoolboy manages to find touch just short of the 40-meter mark, but excellent recovery under pressure from Mubarak there, because he managed to put the ball from his 22 into the other 22, and it just goes to show how important it is to have a guy who can have this ball basically at the tips of his toes.
Shanaga, Mubarak is a person his team could always count on. He would get the job done no matter what. Rather interesting defensive pattern there by Navy, Shanaka. They are not individually pushing at Siha, they are pushing in as a team.
Indeed, they're drifting and forcing CRNFC to go wide. Halafihi with a big run. First time that we've seen that man. Faupau Halafihi looks like a powerhouse. Outstanding size and speed at the back of that scrum for Navy, and he was unlucky that the ball just popped out of his hands before Suranga Pushpakumara collected it. But once again, CRNFC not really able to get out of their half and sustain some pressure on Navy. Shamli Nawaz, forwards coach for CRNFC, would have known what was coming. Once again, a good defensive scrum from CRNFC. Ashan Di Costa looks to run now. Takes on his former schoolmate, Srinath Surya Bandara. And now Papi Farrell has some space. Steps outside Hasita Pereira. Halafihi gets back nicely, and Danushka Pereira makes a nuisance of himself at the breakdown. Excellent work from Gertha there. Did all the hard work, made the tackle. And he was the tackler, so he could play the ball from the wrong side. He's really so good at this. The lower body strength that Danushka Pereira has, all that work that he does in the gym, Shahim, he plays in the same position that you play. And you must have grown up watching this guy just destroy the breakdown position.
Yes, Shanaga, breakdown position is a key area for a flanker. It's all about body position, getting your hands over the ball and maintaining the body balance without falling over.
And Danushka is able to do that so well because he's got really strong hips. And he managed to get over the ball and maintain position. Shahim, and that's something that you need to coach at a very early age, isn't it?
Yes, Shanaga. It comes from practice, and it should be taught at a very early age so that people could improve on it. And it's not entirely the role of a flanker. Nowadays you can see Riza Mubarak there. Good kick.
Easy as you like at his new home ground for Riza Mubarak. A 45-meter kick straight through the uprights. And Navy draw first blood at home in the first half. 3 points to nil. Can see at the middle of your field, Yoshita Rajapaksa having a word with the referee Martin from Spain, based in the UAE. And he was having a word, I think, with regard to Sia's put in the scrum. And it'll be interesting to see how that is policed from now on. Seemed to suggest that Sia were putting it into the second row, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's some truth to that. But let's see what happens now. CRNFC doing well to regather that ball from the restart. And they win themselves a penalty. So what will they do from here? Will they go for the posts? Ashan Di Costa is pointing to the post. That's him on your screen. Ashan walking up to the referee and saying we're going for points. And Billy James Ropiha will have taken the kicking duties from Shanaka Kumara, who is the other change from the CRNFC three-quarter line. Heshan Maduranga, or Kiria as he is known to his friends, comes in place of Shanaka Kumara. And whether Billy James Ropiha will have the same kicking abilities of Kumara is what we will see in a few moments, Shahim. So really weakened by the loss of Kumara, less of an attacking player, but as a kicker, they would really have needed him today.
Yashanaka, kicking is a vital area of the game. Points is what wins games in the end. Ropiha to take the kick. He has the distance. Stefano kicking it. Find a good touch there.
So that one well short of the right upright, and Stefano Thakao thumping it with his big boot, and a good chase by Chamara Dabare as well. If that ball bounced a little differently, things could have got hairy for Rochana Hettiarachi. So another line out for CRNFC. Will they go short again? Looks like they will. So they're going for the 5-man one more time. Rajit Abekun and Dilanka Pereira will be the men, but no, they've gone to a full man now, and Rajit Abekun takes that beautifully. So massive improvement from CRNFC from last week. Lovely ball out to Rochana Hettiarachi. Tackled and taken down by Stefano Takao in a big hit. Very legal hit. But as Jahim was speaking of just a little earlier, Navy drifting nicely. They didn't get caught up with that decoy run that Billy James made, and they kept to their pattern, Shahim. So important, isn't it?
Yashanaka, drifting as a team in defense, it's a really key factor for a team, because no matter what the opposition does, whether the opposition cuts in, whether they run decoy runs, if you drift as a team, you can get the man.
Well won by Shara Fernando in the middle of the Navy line out there. And Yoshita Rajapaksa, the captain, has it at the back. That's a great driving maul from Navy. First time we've seen it in this match. They've made about 20 meters, and now Rajapaksa goes. Looks for Lee Keegle. Lee Keegle has Surya Bandara outside him. Surya Bandara takes on Billy James Ropiha and Kanchana Ramanayaka. Both needed to bring him down. Now they've got numbers. Pushpakumara goes the wrong way. He had a 3-on-1 overlap, and now it looks like Papi Farrell has tied up the Navy ball carrier, who eventually goes to ground. And Pushpakumara wins a penalty for his team, taken quickly by Srinath Surya Bandara. Dilanka Pereira makes the tackle illegally within the 10 meters. So Navy have won themselves a further 10 meters, and pretty sure Mubarak will walk up to kick this one as well. Referee talking to Ashan Di Costa and asking what the reason for that was. But again, Navy clearly superior at breakdown time, Shahim.
Yashanaka, the Sri Lankan blocks, the Sri Lankan pack showing their strength at the breakdown, winning penalties and putting their team under great pressure to further extend the lead. And it's way within Riza's kicking range, Shanaka. Riza's kicking accuracy has been really good, Shanaka.
He's really an excellent kicker, does a lot of hard work, lots of natural talent as well, strikes it very cleanly. And this one is about 3 meters ahead of the one he kicked last time. And that's struck nicely, straight through the middle. So if you keep doing the processes right, Shahim, you're going to get every kick in. And that's what Riza's been focusing on. And Sia had the potential to get on the boards at 3 points all, but I think they took the soft option by going for the penalty kick there. And that doesn't travel the 10 meters from Ashan Di Costa. So Yoshita will very correctly call for the center scrum. Halafihi off the back here, Shahim, that's a no-brainer, isn't it?
Ishanagar. Halafeli is a strong runner. He drives the legs and at least sucks in about 3 to 4 defenders at the breakdown. That opens space out wide for the strong three quarters of Navy.
Well, if I was a Navy coach, Leonard De Silva, I'd call one hit to the right and then spin it back quickly because Setefano Thaka was waiting here, but it's not a great scrum from Navy, not really good ball. Surya Bandara puts the kick in. It's a little too far and Hettiarachi will do well to collect this one. Does well. Doesn't wait and puts the kick in, but he hasn't found touch. That's a bad mistake after some good work from Rochana Hettiarachi, allowing Halafihi to run back with full head of steam against his side. Surya Bandara standing and passing that static ball from the Navy backs. Pushpakumara, now Suri. Gives it to Lee Kegel. Kegel to Setefano Takao. Kanchana Ramanayak is up on him. Setefano fights his way to the ground. Pushpakumara waits. And now Yoshita Rajapaksa at first receiver. Throws the dummy. Heshan Maduranga falls for it. Hook, line and sinker. It's a good run by the captain. And now the other Navy forwards take it on. Pushpakumara keeps going right. And now Sharo Fernando goes for a little run. Lovely offload to his scrum half. And somebody needs to act now for Navy. This is a good passage of play. But the referee blows it up quickly. And calls for a scrum. I think referee was saying there was a head injury. And he thought Suranga Pushpakumara's head got clattered there. But Pukke's got a few harder blows than that. It's tough Trinity and lad Shahim. They make them hard up there, don't they?
Most definitely Shanaga. And Pushpakumara is known to be a little violent player. Always looking for contact, always looking to challenge the opposite number. Shanaga, interesting theory there in CR defense. There seems to be a lot of holes in there, and the sense of urgency to get back from the breakdown and form as a defensive.
Dinusha Chaturanga, and he slipped. Rochana Hettiarachi slipped, and Dinusha Chaturanga is in for the first try of the game. That's a great try from Navy. Off the back, just what we were talking about earlier. They didn't use that move the previous time, but they used it this time. And just a simple draw and pass. And Dinusha Chaturanga was over in the corner. As Shahim was talking about the holes in the CR defense, a massive hole appeared. Heshan Maduranga got drawn in, and Rochana Hettiarachi slipped before he was able to attempt a tackle on Dinusha Chaturanga. And the Sri Lanka Sevens centre and the 15 aside wing three-quarter, Dinusha Chaturanga, or Para as he is known, the Isipatana lad, finishing off under the posts. A lovely run from him. It's about a 40-meter try that Navy scored very, very easily. And again, no scrambling from the CRNFC third row. No real scrambling from the wingers either. Shahim, they've got to fix that problem, haven't they?
Ishana's here letting Navy settle down early in the game. We're about 20 minutes into the game and they're already 13 points ahead. And given the quality of the Navy side, it would be really hard bouncing back Shanaga.
Yes, you can bounce back if you've got a good set of forwards to grind the opposition down in the second half. But this CRNFC team doesn't really have a lot of depth. They've got Malnik, of course, whom they can bring on. And he's going to really make a difference when he comes on, I'm sure, because he's got a little bit more head on his shoulders than Billy James Rapiha, who surprisingly won the Hawke's Bay Rugby Player of the Year in 2013, but looks like he's a little off the pace now. Halafihi, lovely take from the restart and takes three defenders down with him. Suranga Pushpakumara, Lee Kegel at first receiver. Lovely inside ball to Takao. Takao is picked up and dumped by Dilan Soiza. That was a lovely tackle from the little scrum half on one of the most dangerous sevens players in the world. Real guts from Dilan Soiza there. Halafihi once again sets it up. And that was a bad mistake from Yoshita Rajapaksa, and he knows it. Can see he's got his hand on his head and says sorry to the referee because he knows that he went off his feet at the breakdown and spoiled a really good ball for his team. But it's important that players know what they've done wrong, and Yoshita knew it exactly and just held his head and thought, what have I done? But This is the first chance for points for CRNFC from kickable distance. Kanchana Ramanayaka going for the long one. You know him pretty well as well, Shahim. Kanchana Ramanayaka. How good is his place kicking? And his defense has been very good, but how good is his place kicking today for CR?
He was always known to be a kicker, Shanaka. Initially, when he joined Trinity, kicking duties were taken by him. And what impresses me the most about him is his stepping, his attack. He always looks for holes and tries to dazzle the defender. Got the distance there. Good kick there by Ramanayaka.
Excellent kick by Ramanayaka. Didn't see him under any pressure at all. And spanked through the middle. So CRNFC on the board for the first time in this game. 13 points to 3. Navy have gone ahead early in this game. But CR will need more than a few penalties to keep pace with this Navy pack. Already the front five beginning to wear CRNFC down. And what worries me for CRNFC is the lack of depth in forwards and backs, really. They've got players, but not of the same quality as they have on the park right now. Papi Farrell, taken by Chamra Dabare, who makes a good chase. Dilan Soisa gives it to Nipuna Devinda, the Isipatana prop forward. Soisa again gives it to Ashan De Costa, who steps, puts in a little chip, but it's not a great chip. Suranga Pushpakumara read it well, but couldn't find Thakau. Now Thakau has gone, found the offload. Riza Mubarak joins the line nicely. And the chip is put in by Dinusha Chaturanga, the try scorer. But the referee spotted a pullback before that, so that's why Navy couldn't get their numbers going. Because there was a little pullback by one of the CR players on a Navy player. So referee walking over to Irshad Kader. He'll ask whether he saw anything more of that. But these pullbacks are things that happen pretty often on the rugby field, Shaim. You've just sometimes got to learn to play with it.
Yashanaga, little things like this happen on a rugby field, but the impact on those things in a rugby game is defined by the referee who's refereeing the game. If he thinks it's against the discipline of the game, he would obviously penalize the player.
Well, he's absolutely right in giving a penalty there because it could have prevented a try scoring. Could have prevented a try scoring opportunity there for Navy. Navy now have a line out. It's overthrown, but Halafi, takes it. Danushka Pereira takes it at the back. But the throw was crooked, so that's a bad mistake from Achala Pereira. It was a very good attacking line out. And they chose to go to the back. They had been winning it through Sharo Fernando in the front. And this is what I don't understand, Jahim. When you're winning the ball at a certain area, why do you change the call in a pressure situation where you have to win it?
It's like this, Shanaga. It's sort of part of the human nature, isn't it? You learn to do different things, and once one thing goes right, you just have to try the other one.
Farrell dropping that off the back of the scrum, but he's lucky to get away with it. Referee didn't spot the knock-on. And Billy James Ropiha will try and put his big Hawke's Bay boot to the ball, but doesn't find touch. Abekun and Riza Mubarak now. Mubarak tries to get away from Heshan Maduranga, who makes a good tackle in the end. But Navy's forwards are there. And Billy James Ropiha doubles up with Sharo Fernando. Excellent technique from the Navy forwards. Big Hasita Pereira now goes on a run. Pushpa Kumara steps inside. Surya Bandara. Lovely step from the fly half. And Dilanka Pereira gets a yellow card. Not sure what that was for. Shahim, did you manage to spot exactly what that yellow card was for? No, it's another holding back, I think. And that's what the referee blew that one for. Because Surya Bandara was looking to offload. So the first card early in the morning for the CRNFC team. They've lost a line-out jumper, and that's going to be a big problem for them. They lost their main line-out jumper. And Reza Mubarak, this will be the easiest penalty attempt he's had. The conversion was a simple one, but you can bet your bottom dollar he's going to knock this one over. So a silly mistake from Sia, but again real probing runs from Surya Bandara, and this is why he's so dangerous, isn't he?
Shanaka Surya Bandara showing his class today. I really don't understand this Shanaka. Why make an effort to pull a player down when you can just go down and get him down? Because clearly they are in a really good attacking position. If you don't make a clean tackle, it would make an opportunity there. Reza Mubarak getting the kick through again.
Simple kick for Mubarak, but yeah, continue on that, Shahim. What does a defender do in those situations? Do they try and make the illegal tackle like Dilanka Pereira tried to make there, or what would a coach tell his player to do?
Inside this Shanaka, a coach would never want their team to be penalized, and holding a player back is one way of doing that. In a pressure situation like that, the best thing you could do is go down, get your tackle techniques right, and put the player down.
Discipline is the name of the game, and Iranga Swarnathilaka shows great discipline to come back inside there. Tried to steal the ball, but the Navy swarm all over the CRNFC there. Somehow they've managed to get it back to Papi Farrell, who's been good since his arrival in Sri Lanka. Billy James Ropiha, Srinath Surya Bandara is on him. Gets a good pass away to Ramanayaka. Ramanayaka gives it to Hettiarachi. That's a lovely tackle again by Lee Kegel. But the entry into the tackle area from then is not good. Danushka Pereira smashes Anuruddha Herath. That was a great tackle by the Sri Lanka third row forward. But two penalties given away by Navy in quick succession. Dilan Soisa taking it quickly. It's messy for CRNFC, and now they've surrendered the ball. This is Terence Henry. Fights his way to the ground and rescues the ball for Navy. That's good defense from the Navy team, and Reza Mubarak under severe pressure finds 50 meters. That is outstanding play from Disipatana fullback. He's an experienced man, knows this ground now like the back of his hand. He's played here a couple of seasons. Went back to CR last year, but now finds his way back. In the absence of Nuan Hettiarachi, Navy will be thanking their lucky stars that they've got him back. But Sia needed to just be a little bit more composed there, Shahim.
Shana, exactly. They need to stay composed because not long ago, about 10 minutes ago, they opted to take the kick and they got 3 points. And right now they should be worried about closing the gap, Shanaka, rather than taking quick taps and going for the try.
Yes, I thought the first quick tap from Anuruddha Herath was a good one. But after the second penalty was awarded, they should really have composed themselves. But again, a problem in the air. And you can see Hettiarachi there, a big Hettiarachi on the top of your screen, talking to the referee and saying, that wasn't crooked, sir. And I think he's right. But the problem was that the lifters stepped across the midway line and Rajitha Abekun looked like he'd gone across. So it was something that was deceptive, but the referee got right and it was Sia's fault anyway. So that's an interesting tactic. Haven't seen that one before. Terrible pass from Pushpakumara. And Navy going backwards and knocking the ball forward. That was something that Pushpakumara needs to get right. And the problem for me, because they've got so many good players who are good on the ball, Shahim, is that Navy have had several people at first receiver. And they've got to maybe cut that down and get a bit more organized when the phase play happens. And get Surya Bandara making the calls and standing a little deep.
Ishana, the best way to maintain the flow of the game is doing your part. If you're a flanker, you do what a flanker does best. If you're fly half, you're supposed to receive the ball. You just stay there. And if anyone is in front of you, just chase him away. Tell the teammate to move away. Let me do my job, you do yours.
Papi Farrell's doing his job of carrying the ball up nicely. Sasanka Aryaratna finds some space on the blind side. He's got no one with him. Dilan Soisa now waits for it. That's good work from the little scrum half, Farrell. Waiting for it, and Ashan Di Costa going on a run. That's good work again by Farrell, clearing that one out. And Billy James Ropiha goes laterally. Big tackle coming in from Hasita Pereira. And that's another opportunity for points. Surely, see, I have to take this kick. It's 16 points to 3 in favor of the defending champions and the favourites for the title. And Sia will do well to close that gap to 10 points instead of the 13. And Kanchana Ramanayaka seems to be striking it well. But Navy have to sort that out. It looks like they've got the good players in their team. They know that for a fact. But they're not getting them the ball in the most effective positions.
Yes, Shanaka. There's one thing Navy shouldn't forget, Shanaka, because the game against Army, so you have 13 points behind at halftime, and they went on to win the game 21-13. This is a side, maybe young, maybe not full of experience, but they seem to show heart later on in the game, Shanaka. And with kicks like this, anything could happen.
What they also have to bear in mind is that Sia's best player, Robert Malnick, is still on the bench, and that's a great kick from Kanchana Ramanayaka once again. He's really been the unsung hero for me of this CRNFC team in the last 3 games, Shahim. He's been excellent in attack, excellent in defense, and now he's putting the kicks over as well. So if I was a coach, I would be wrapping him in some sort of bubble wrap or something in between games and just bringing him out for the game. So he's been really excellent for CRNFC, but this really experienced star-studded Navy side must find a way to get their danger men, like Setefano Takao, guys like Chamara Dabare, how to get them the ball in the most effective position. At the moment, everyone's trying to have a run, and that's a little bit disorganized at the moment from them. The only guy who's really doing his core skills, as you mentioned, Shahim, doing his job really well, has been Riza Mubarak. Having a substitution. So Soiru Anthony runs onto the pitch, and he runs on in place of Sharo Fernando, who seems to have gone off. And Farrell once again does well at the restart. He's been the only one who's capable of catching the restart properly for CRNFC. Dilan Soiza puts a lovely up and under in. Beautifully taken by Anurad Herat, who's smashed to the ground for his trouble by Halafihi, who also steals the ball off him. Lovely work from Farapao Halafihi. And Suranga Pushpakumara once again holds onto the ball. And you can see his captain Rajapaksa giving him a piece of his mind. Referee right on the spot. And this is good refereeing, isn't it, Shahim? It's been a marked difference from the way the local referees blow. I mean, they're blowing it quickly, and they're blowing the first offense so the players don't come in and cause a mess, fall all over each other. So that's important for the local referees to understand, that you've got to make a call quickly as soon as a penalty happens.
Shanaka, you often see in games where local referees referee players, even after the whistle has been blown, just running around waiting until the referee blows it again. And one of the main things foreign referees try to do is maintain the flow of the game, Shanaka.
So Ramanayaka steps up again, this time from the other side of the field. So he's had one straight in front, had one on the left, and now it's gone to the more difficult side. So it's like kicking practice for him. And suddenly, CRNFC are just 1 goal behind if this kick goes over. So Navy have to make sure that they don't do anything silly and give away points. A lovely kick. Lovely kick from Kanchana Ramanayaka. 16 points to 9. Thanks to the boot of the Trinity player, a guy who's on the fringes of the Sri Lanka team. And I really think now with Pradeep Lianage getting on a bit, that number 13 jersey should be competed for by guys like Nigel Ratwata and Kanchana Ramanayaka, Shahim. These are the guys that are front runners.
It clearly shows it has just been 3 weeks into the Dialog Rugby League, and these players are really making a mark, especially Nigel Ratwata and now Kanchana Ramanayaka.
Referee just holding up play for Dilanka Pereira, who was in the sin bin, to come back. So That's not good news for Navy because they've had a man up for the last 10 minutes and it's the side with the man down that have scored the points. Rajat Abekun takes that nicely. CRNFC have improved their restarts greatly. Nipuna Devinder spinning out of one tackle. Good technique from the big prop who Coach Marika is using as a ball carrier. Box kick from Dilan Soiza, but straight to the danger man Halafihi. Gives it to Riza Mubarak. But lovely tackle on him by Kanchana Ramanayaka again. Read that play beautifully and was up on the Navy fullback. Didn't give him a chance to breathe, but great work for Mubarak to recycle that ball. Achala Pereira stays strong in the tackle. Pushpakumara now to Surya Bandara, and that's a nice angle from Hasita Pereira. That's the ball that's available, and now the danger man Setefano Takao brought down again by the smallest man, the second smallest man on the field. And Terence Henry loses the ball, so excellent work in defense by Dilan Soiza, who's just coming into your screen. He's getting high fives and a pat on the back from his teammates, and why not? Because he stopped a certain try from Setefano Takao by just hanging onto his knee and hoping he falls over him. Great bravery by Dilan Soiza.
Sean, it happened a couple of times now, and it shows that with courage you can bring anyone down. The key is to go low, no matter how strong you are on the top, on the upper body. Your legs are always weak. Below your knees, anyone could be brought down.
Excellent work at the back of that scrum by Papi Farrell, all undone by Ashan Di Costa, who dropped that ball though. And that's a real shame for CRNFC because Farrell did so well. I think you've played number 8 a few times as well, Shahim, for Trinity, even though you usually play as a flank, and it's so difficult when the scrum is going back to pick that ball up and give good ball to your three quarters. But Farrell, against a retreating scrum, has done that really well.
Shanak, when your entire pack is being pushed back, it's really hard to stay composed and grab the ball and maintain position. But I think Paul Farrell has really done well. He's spinning, he's staying on his feet and doing as much as he could for CR.
Malnik still to come, so that will give some hope to the CRNFC fans. But I'd like to see, from a Navy point of view, Halafihi doing a little bit more running. He's broken off just a one scrum so far. And I'd really like to see him breaking off this one because he's got acres of space to run into. And Ashan Di Costa is not known as the strongest tackler in the world. So let's see what Navy do here. There's look set up to run. Mubarak is already in the line. And they give it straight out to Surya Bandara. Takao. Good tackle by Ramanayaka, but Dinusha Chaturanga comes back in nicely. But Rochana Hettiarachi gets in there. And Papi Farrell coming up in an offside position, but referee allowing play to go on because the scrum was, the ball was still in the maul. The scrum rather. Rochita Rajapaksa. Hands off one. That's a good run by Rajapaksa straight into Anuradha Herath. Good run from Yoshita Rajapaksa. He didn't have any support on his inside. And that's half time, so 16 points to 9. Navy will be disappointed with that score because they would imagine that they should be, given the team that they have on paper, way ahead from this CRNFC team. But CR have competed well and through the boot of Kanchana Ramanayaka have managed to get within 7 points of this champion outfit and the favourites for this year's Dialog Rugby League as well. We'll be back in Valisara in a few minutes' time. Until then, enjoy this Navy band who will entertain you for the next couple of minutes. But we'll be back with second half action. Shahim and myself with a close second half. Robert Malnik will be coming on for CRNFC. No doubt Joeli Lutumailangi will be coming on for Navy as well. So we should see some fireworks. Don't go anywhere. We all saw last week what happens when you switch off at halftime. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Valisara for this live coverage of the Dialog Rugby A Division match between CRNFC and the defending champions and title favourites Navy. It's only the third week of the competition, but these two teams are unbeaten, along with CH, who after one match are an unbeaten team. So just these two teams who really have played 3 games, and one of them will shed that unbeaten tag after this evening's match. 16 points to 9 in favour of Navy, and we have a fireworks second half to look forward to as Ashan Di Costa gets it underway. Taken beautifully by ThePapare. Good restart from the Navy team. Short pass from Terence Henry on to Halafihi, almost intercepted by Ashan Di Costa. That would have been really unfortunate for Navy. But now they've got Riza Mubarak to clear. Rochana Hettiarachchi and Heshan Maduranga converging on the ball. Taken well by Hettiarachchi. Smashed in a tackle by Setefano Takao. Stopped dead in his tracks by the big Fijian Sevens captain. The young Dalmaraja fullback playing his first season of club rugby. Hello, chum. This is what it's all about. Ashan Di Costa puts the kick high. Billy James Ropiha chases. Suranga Pushpakumara drops it, but now finds help in Halafihi, who throws a long pass to Chamara Dabare. Dabare, who manages to get away from Maduranga, gets away from Arya Ratna and pops a lovely ball. Lee Kegel gets away from one. Kanchana Ramanayaka is there to make the tackle. Kegel throws it back and it's collected by a Navy player. So Lee Kegel should really have held on to that ball, and CRNFC give away a penalty. In fact, it's Navy who give away a penalty, not releasing the tackler. The tackler not releasing the tackled player, rather. And that really opened up. Halafihi threw a long pass to Dabare, who did well to control it. And the first time he's really touched the ball, Chamara Dabare creates problems. And this is what I've been saying for the first 40 minutes, Shahim. They're not getting the ball into the hands of their most dangerous players.
Rishanak, we just saw what damage they could cause if they actually get an opportunity. Dabare showing his pace, class winger, good stepping, running on the outside. Good to see, Shanak.
Good to see from a Sri Lankan point of view as well. He'd gone off the boil a bit, but hopefully playing for this champion outfit, he will be able to rediscover his form. Sandun Herat, very much the in-form winger in Sri Lanka at the moment. Well won there by Abekun. And Ashan Di Costa goes for this tried and tested method. Haven't seen CR run once today. Dinusha Chaturanga doesn't want anything to do with that. And Setefano Takao is well wrapped up by Ramanayaka. Excellent defense by the young CR outside centre. And Surya Bandara delays the pass. Halafihi takes 3 defenders. And Papi Farrell does beautifully to win the ball. But I thought that was a little harsh. But David Halafihi agrees with the referee there. Papi Farrell had not released the player. And Mubarak steps up. He'll be kicking into the sun and into the wind. So he chooses instead to go for the corner flag. Lovely kick by Riza Mubarak. It'll have to be a good line out as well. Achala Pereira, the experienced hooker, ex-Kingswood player, to throw the ball into this line out. Soiru Anthony has come in, so he's more of a natural jumper than Sharo Fernando. But it goes to ThePapare in the front. Referee having a word on the right of your screen with Achala and saying you need to step out of the field of play, mate. You can't have your foot on the line or over the line. You've got to step outside. So referee being technical there. And Hasita takes it once again. But that's a crooked throw. Good pressure from the front of the line out, at the front of the line out rather, from Rajit Abekun. So that's the second time they've had a really good attacking line out and given the ball away, Shahim. Again, the core skills.
An opportunity missed there, Shanaka. The Navy backline, they were formed, I think, with a set play there, and the forwards couldn't do the basic thing, that is put the ball straight, get it down, and get it to the scrum half.
Exactly. The core skills Navy really need to train a little bit harder if they are going to smash teams off the park, which is what they would want to do. And given the side that they've got, given the quality that they've got, so many Sri Lanka players, it's virtually a Sri Lanka front seven. Halafihi, obviously, he's not Sri Lankan. But you look at the rest of the back three as well. Srinath Surya Bandara, devastating player on the international 7th circuit. And you've got guys like Dabare, Bubarak and Chaturanga at the back. So they really should be putting teams away, especially teams that have been struggling a little bit defensively. But Sia's defense from last week, Shahim, it's really improved.
Yes, especially Poppy Farrell Shanaka today. He's been really good. His work rate has been really good in attack and both in defense. He's strong over the ball and making some really good ground. Good asset for CR.
Really good asset for CR. Ponsonby player plays his club rugby in the Auckland region as Ashan Di Costa clears that penalty which was given away by CR and FC. So CR have made a change to their front row, Shahim. They've brought in Shamir Fajuddin for Malinda Hettiarachi. And it seems that move has already paid dividends because Fajuddin is the one who put his opposite number under pressure to win that penalty. So let's see whether that will make a difference for this Navy side, but it really shouldn't. Navy should be dominating the scrum. Another Navy line out. In fact, it's a CRNFC line out, sorry. Rajapaksa looking to compete at the back. And Soiru Anthony will compete at the front. Goes to the back and Ishan Noor knocks this one on. David Halafihi. Hands off Dilan Soiza. And that's a silly mistake once again from Navy. Terence Henry just diving into that. And Robert Malnick, he's the game changer. He's into the fray now in place of Billy James Ropiha. And that's quickly taken by Dilan Soiza. Looks for support play, but David Halafihi just destroys little Dilan, who springs right back up though like a jack in the box. But now Srinath Surya Bandaras, that's a lovely sight to see, isn't it? Setafano Takao goes all the way under the posts. So dangerous from turnover ball. An outstanding try from a poaching Navy team. They've been putting real pressure into this breakdown. And that ball squirted out. It went between Dilan Soisa's legs, Shahim. And I think Dilan was still suffering the after effects of that massive hit from Halafihi. And Srinath Surya Bandara swooping. And once Takao got it in open field, there's no stopping him.
Good awareness by Surya Bandara Shanaka. Ball popping out of the ruck. Open play. Grabs the ball. Puts the big man, Setafano Kakao, under the post. Familiar sight, isn't it? Him going under the post and turning around, looking at his opponents and scoring the try.
Yeah, we've seen it so often for Fiji in the National 7th Circuit, International 7th Circuit, and it's also nice to see Fijian 7th star receiving the ball from a Sri Lankan 7th star as well, so that can only happen in teams like this. Lots of investment in foreign talent around the clubs. Poppy Farrell and Robert Malnick, also big name players, guys who play some good level of rugby in Auckland and in Hawke's Bay. Robert Malnick and also Billy James Ropiha. So Setafano Takao in his first match since arriving in Sri Lanka on Thursday, I think, shows that he's got the ability to hit the ground running. So that would have dented the confidence of the CR team a little bit. 23 points to 9 is the score, and Hasita Pereira takes that restart nicely. Rumbles forward. Pereira has bulked up a bit. Will need to get a bit more fitter aerobically. Nipuna Devinda, Danushka Pereira combined to allow Suranga Pushpakumara to clear that to Riza Mubarak, who puts it up to Rojana Hettiarachi, returns the favour to the most dangerous man on the pitch. And now Thakao, but Hettiarachi does well to bring him down. Good tackle by the CR fullback. Surya Bandara gets into space, gives it to Rajapaksa. Rajapaksa makes a couple of meters and presents well for his fly half. That's a good grubber by Srinath Surya Bandara. And it's knocked forward by the on-rushing player. Halafi. He did beautifully to secure that. And Ashan DeCosta thinks better of running it and puts it deep into this Navy 22, which probably was not the right decision. He had Papi Farrell outside him. Probably could have given it to him and tried to have a bit of a run at this Navy team. We haven't really seen CR put it through the hands one time, Shahim.
No, Shanaga, they have always just looked to take the ball into contact. You should really admire the positional play of Papi Farrell. He has been really good in defense. For an instance, when Rochana Hettiarachi collected the ball and kicked and chased his own kick, Papi Farrell was formed at the back, waiting to receive the kick from Riza.
Great awareness, a good old school number 8 he is, and that's him again with the high knee action. Malnick now, his New Zealand compatriot. Lovely pass out to Kanchana Ramanayaka, who gives another lovely ball out to Anuradha Herath, who can't catch it. But that's what we were talking about just now. Maybe they can hear us from where we are speaking, Shahim, but that's the first time they've really spun the ball through the hands there and showed a little bit of space on the outside. But once again, the defensive pattern holding strong for Navy. They're not getting flustered.
Yashanaga, if you notice the Navy defense, it has been divided into two. One side is taken by the back runners, and the other side with the forwards. And what CR could do is use their fast runners in the back line and exploit the gaps.
Yes, they need to try and create the mismatches. Well spotted there, Shahim. That's the defensive pattern that Coach Leonard De Silva is using for this Navy team, and it has worked thus far. CRNFC haven't been able to cross their line, and Navy have already scored 2 tries. Vishwamitra Jayasinghe is on the field, so if Heshan Maduranga thought he had a bit of respite from the pace of Dinusha Chaturanga, he's got an even faster guy to deal with now. And that's Vishwamitra Jayasinghe on the right wing, but it's Halafihi who comes off the back of that scrum. Surya Bandara under tremendous pressure from CR's captain Ashan DeCosta. CR now with their tails up, looking to try and make a difference and get on the scoreboard. But they're not going to do it like that, because Vishwamitra, who's gone looking for work, comes away from that ruck beautifully. Achala Pereira. In fact, it's Dulanjan Vijay who's come on in place of Achala Pereira. Rochana Hettiarachi has been so good under the high ball. Not under real pressure, but still has to catch it. David Halafihi puts away Suranga Pushpakumara, looking to run the little scrum half. And Hasita Pereira is the first man there. So Dylan Soisa giving away a penalty for his team, which is unnecessary, but again, superb work from David Halafihi under the high ball. And one thing you've noticed about Halafihi, Shahim, is he's not selfish at all, and that's the same thing you notice with Farrell also. They're looking to involve other players into the game. They're doing what they have to do and getting other players involved.
That's a sign of quality player, Shanaga. That's what they do. They don't look for individual brilliance. Of course, yes, if given the opportunity, they would do it, but mostly they would look to get points on the board, whether it may be them scoring or putting a teammate under the post.
And what's interesting about the defense also for Navy is that you've got some really disciplined players on the ends of the defensive pattern for Navy. That ball is stolen by CRNFC, so not a good line out there from the Navy team. Once again, the kick put through, and Setefano Takao. Great broken field runner, but he'll think twice and give it to Riza to clear. And Hettiarachi takes it quickly. Dilan Soisa now has some space to run, but Siaz looks tired. And Riza Mubarak, under no pressure, calls for the mark. He'll want to slow this team down a little bit. Mubarak cheekily trying to steal a little bit of an angle from the referee, but referee saying he's not having any of that. And that's a lovely kick from Mubarak, misjudged by Rochana Hettiarachi, went just over his head. And he finds great touch. That's a great kick from the Isipatana fullback.
Shanaga, Mubarak doing what it does best, putting in some great kicks there. CR team, they look a bit tired, Shanaga. For instance, Soisa's kick, there was no kick chase, hence putting the entire team offside.
Yes, that looks to be the case. It was the case last week against Havies as well. An untidy line out from the CRNFC. Somehow managed to control the ball. And taken forward by their number 5. Poppy Farrell putting in a box kick there. Looks like he's doing everything for CRNFC today, Shahim. I've never seen a number 8. I've seen Zinsan Brook put over a drop kick, but I've never seen a number 8 take a box kick before.
Poppy Farrell showing his hidden skills there, Shanaga. Trying to do everything on his own.
Have you ever tried something like that?
Oh, not really, Shanaga. I would have gotten kicked in the butt.
That's good news, Shahim. Hasita Pereira takes it at the front and takes it well. Navy look to set up their driving maul, and Pereira has to get out of the way of his own players. Rajapaksa needs to keep his head down here. That's good technique from the Navy players. They're going sideways, but also going forward. This is good play from Navy. They look like they want to drive this one all the way. But it breaks down now, and Surya Bandara gives it to Vishwamitra Jayasinghe. Now Yoshita Rajapaksa breaks one tackle and has his team on the front foot. Referee's got his arm out for a penalty, and taken quickly by Satya Ranatunga. Is he over the line? Yes, he is. Satya Ranatunga tapping and going. The big prop forward who's come on. He's on the bench in favor of former Havelocks captain Terence Henry, who has now moved in to the Valisara outfit. And Satya Ranatunga, wanting to grab his coach's attention, just taps and goes and breezes through for a try. That's again a sign of tiredness from Sia.
Yashana, good to see something like that from a prop forward. Spots a gap. Satya takes a quick tap, scores right near the post.
Good awareness from the big prop. You would have played with him as well, Shaim, or he would have been a bit senior to you, but he really blossomed after he left school, didn't he?
I can remember I was in under 16 when he played for the first 15. He was an important player for the team, and more than he did in the school arena, his club rugby performance has been taken to a whole nother level.
Mubarak converts with ease, and Ranatunga will be happy that he's given his coach some selection problems. Dulanjan Vijay Singh. In fact, my apologies to Terence Henry. He's on the field. It's actually Satya has come on for Eranga Swarnathilaka, Podi Swarnathilaka, former Antonian. Played a lot of rugby with his twin brother Suranga, Loko and Podi, they were known as. And Dilan Soiza has to clear that ball up. but it's been knocked on by a Navy hand. So CRNFC really need to get on the board quickly. It's 30 points to 9 and they haven't been able to score a try. And it looks very much like this CR team has lost a bit of gas. And despite Robert Malnick coming on and changing the game against Army, he will find it a little bit more difficult to do against this quality opposition.
Yes, Navy scoring at ease now. They're finally making use of the quality players they have with the likes of Stefano Kakao and Halafili.
Good run there by Robert Malnick, but equally good tackle by Chamara Dabare. And now CR look to spin it a little bit. Dilanka Pereira goes into a heavy contact. Ramanayaka waits. Looks for Rochana Hettiarachi. Nice to see him in attack. Dilan Soisa waits for it. It's available for him. And it's a nice long ball out to Rajit Abekun. Good tackling again from Navy close in. But once again, not releasing the tackler. And Terence Henry was the man who gave away that penalty. And that's a couple of penalties Henry's given away. And his coach won't be too pleased with that. Because in closer games, those are the disciplinary issues that really matter, Shahim.
Yashanaga, a lot of obstacles lay ahead for Navy, and it's important that the likes of Terence Henry maintain that discipline because it could be really vital in closer games. CR in a good attacking position there.
It's a good attacking position, Shahim, but it's a comical line out from CRNFC. Arun Kumar having taken the throwing duties. Dilan Soisa takes that nicely in the air. Soiru Anthony making a nuisance of himself and does really well. Soiru Anthony getting in there and forcing CRNFC to commit the error. And Sudat Sampath, the touch judge on this near side, has come in. Think he might have a few words to say about Pushpa Kumara's tackle in the air on Dilan Soisa. It was marginal, but I think the referee may have to award a penalty here. Dilan Soisa has had an outstanding game for CRNFC, and that's exactly it. They're having a chat with Pushpa Kumara and Danushka Pereira. Quickly taken there by Malnick. Gives it off to his North Island compatriot. And that's another falling over the ball penalty. Achala Pereira seems really tired. And that's a yellow card for consistent infringing from the Navy team. Nipuna Devinda takes it, and now CR have a chance to try and score their first try of the game. Ishan Noor. Papi Farrell puts his head down, tries to suck in more defenders. CRNFC going left and right. Ishan Noor, CR's last year's captain, making a few yards. It's been knocked forward off a Navy hand. So CR will have probably the best attacking position of the match so far, Shahim.
Zoisa for CR making a clinical error there. He opted to go on the blind side, whereas the entire CR line, they were formed on the right side, and they had a pretty good overlap on the outside. Could have easily scored there, Shanaga.
It's a good time, I would think, for Rahul De Silva to come on. Shahim, he's a guy that you'll know well, who captained that Wesley side, who actually beat you all in the President's Trophy knockout. Dilanka Pereira goes off, and on comes number 19 for CRNFC. Vasabha Senarath, an experienced player. He goes into the second row, and Dilanka goes into Rajat Abekun goes onto the flank. So that was for the weight that Vasabha Senarath was substituted at that point. But Rahul De Silva might make a few interesting decisions now that Dilan Soisa is tired. Dilan's a great defender, but when you're looking to score against a team, Rahul might be the option. And here's a penalty for not engaging in the scrum. Papi Farrell goes as he has done all game, untiringly. CRNFC pick and go. That's another good pick and go, but superb defense by Navy. Their big front five thrusting CRNFC backwards. Now Malnik steps one way and the other. That's a lovely step by Robert Malnik. And the Hawke's Bay fullback is over for the try. So that's the first try that CRNFC have scored all evening. It may be a little bit too little too late, but that would have really saved their blushes, being able to score that try. And a superb individual effort from Malnik. Steps left, drags the entire defense and manages to step back on his left foot, come in and exploit that gap. An outstanding bit of individual skill there, Shaim.
Yashanaga, Malnik proving to be a really good asset for CR, using his stepping skills to the maximum. I wonder whether coach Shaim Timarika left him a little too late in the game.
I thought he may have come on at half time, to be honest, Shaim, myself. But he came on a little later. But he was struggling with the heat last week, especially in that first half against Havelocks. So I think they're trying to get him a little bit acclimatized. But he is their best player by a long way, so he needs to play as long as he can. Ramanayaka for the conversion to get CR to 16 points, but it drifts wide. So 30 points to 14 it stays. Navy have scored 3 tries to CR's 1, and Navy will be looking for that bonus point. They've got bonus points in all their games so far. This is a game already between the top 2 in the Dialog Rugby A Division League. Navy at 1 and CR at 2, and even if it finishes this way, it might stay like that unless Havelocks can do a number and come up the table. They're leading Kandy up in Nittavala. Papi Farrell takes it well. Yoshita Rajapaksa attacks the loose ball, forces the turnover. But CR managed to recover somehow. They hang on to the ball. Good hit there by Danushka Pereira. Does all the dirty work for his team. Malnik. Lovely hand on by Ramanayaka. Rochana Hettiarachi gives it to Heshan Madhuranga. Kiriya's got Malnik with him. Should really pass the ball. And now Joeli Lutumailangi, the 7th specialist from Fiji, gives it to Vishwamitra Jayasinghe, who gets caught in a maul, and it's taken away by Dilan Soisa. And now CRNFC have a chance to attack, but Arun Kumar drops the ball, and now they've got space. Yoshita Rajapaksa will straighten it, and Danushka Pereira comes back inside, does well the big flank forward. Working together on that far side are the 2 back rowers. Srinath Surya Bandara, now Hettiarachi. Rondro on the field, and Surya Bandara looking for that little grubber. Here's Heshan Madhuranga touching the ball in an attacking position for one of the first times. And now they've got space. Kanchana Ramanayaka looking to put the little kick in. And that's a lovely bit of football from Ramanayaka. Chamara Dabare has done brilliantly to cover from the other end. And Rochana Hettiarachi is over for the second try. Dabare is having a word with the referee, but he's having none of it. And Rochana Hettiarachi gets a well-deserved try. He's done really well, this young lad. And Kanchana Ramanayaka created that with some beautiful footballing skills, and the poor guy is down. That'll be a massive blow for CR if this is a serious injury. But it looks like Navy have relaxed, Shahim. They're allowing these tries to go in without much competition. So it just goes to show that strength and conditioning. We noticed this last week at the CRNFC versus Havelock's game as well. The team's really starting to retire. The strength and conditioning aspect of this pre-season has not really been looked into.
Yashan, again, CR has been really good in that sense because even in last week against Havis, they bounced back and they went on to win the game. Good work there by Ramanayaka, putting in a little kick, putting a good chase, and Dabare covering, gathering the ball, and that's what a ball carrier should do once he's on the ground, that is to release, and Eti Archie gathering the ball and scoring the try there for CR.
Excellent work from Dabare, coming across from his wing to cover the opposite wing. That's something that players with a good work ethic do. It's good to see Dabare in not only attacking but doing the defending as well. Rochana Hettiarachi kicks this one wide. Called upon to take the kick in the absence of Ramanayaka, who's still getting some running repairs done to him. Looks like he's got a bit of a knee problem. And from a CR point of view, if he is out for a considerable number of games, this could be a huge problem for them. 11 minutes to go in this game, and there's an 11-point gap as well, 30 points to 19. So if CR can score a point a minute, they'll tie this one. But Navy, I think that has stirred them into action, and they will attack hard. But Papi Farrell, who has been so good for CR this week, continues to do a good work at the restart. Robert Malnick thumps the ball down for Mubarak and Rodrondro to chase. Mubarak asks for it from his big Fijian number 8. And it's in touch, but it will be taken quickly. And Dilan Soiza makes a big mistake for CRNFC. He actually caught the ball and then stepped into touch. And that's a massive mistake. Mubarak will be very happy about that. But again, with Dilan tiring, Shahim, I think the time for Rahul De Silva to come on is well nigh.
Yes, Rahul is a good scrum half, Shanak. He analyzes the game and spots little gaps and puts the teammates out free. And I think in a tight game, the last quarter, I think you need a player like him in the team.
Navy managing to use their lineouts without sending one of their third row players off. Lee Kegel puts the ball against the foot of one of the CR players. And Joeli Lutumailangi kicks the ball out, which means that it will be a 5-meter scrum. So there's no hooker. I'm not sure this is the correct call though, Shahim, because it was kicked ahead by Lee Kegel, came back off a CRNFC foot, and I'm not sure anyone touched it before it crossed the try line, so I'm not sure that's the correct call. Because even though you kick it out, it's about who took it over the try line. And I think it might have come off a CR player unless someone touched it in between from a Navy team. So I'm not sure the referee's got this absolutely right. I think Mubarak actually came over and said, look, I didn't touch it. But the referee's given his award. So let's see whether CR can profit from that fortunate set of circumstances. Dulanjan Vijay Singh in the center of that front row there. And this is Farrell, gives it to his captain, gives it to Ramanayaka. Ramanayaka with a long ball over the top, and Anuradha Herath will score, but it's a forward pass. The referee was right on spot to give that. We'll have a look at that and tell you. Here's a replay. And it didn't look forward actually from where the players were standing on the screen. I'm sure you can go back and pause this coverage. You can come back to the live coverage in a bit. If you want to go back and have a look at it, it looked like it was a flat pass. But it looked, because it was a floated pass, it's deceptive, isn't it?
Yes, Shanaga. Kanchara Ramanaka showing his passing skills there. And I personally think that CR could have done this a little bit earlier. Clearly, if they send the ball wide, there are plenty of holes on the outside of the Navy defense.
Yes, they've shown a tremendous unwillingness to run. Ashan Costa has been putting it to his boot almost all game, and now that they're a little desperate for points, they're trying to run it. Malnik looking like he's making the calls with more authority than Billy James Rapiha. So Navy will try and run the clock down now. It's Navy ball in the scrum, so they'll be happy with Rondro. Comes off the back of that scrum, replacing David Halafihi, the Tongan national, who's, well, not national, but the Tongan player who's done a lot of work. But again, a silly mistake from CRNFC going in the back of that, and Joeli Lutumailangi takes it quickly. Joeli Lutumailangi, a last gasp tackle from Dylan Soisa again. He has saved about 3 tries for his team. And Surya Bandara now looks to give it to Rodrondo. And now Vishwamitra Jayasinghe will put his ears back. And Kanchana Ramanayaka again will make an important tackle for his side. Sajid Saranga, who's on the field. And that's a good bit of scavenging from Sia. And superb refereeing from referee Martin as well, who marches Sia back 10 meters. And Yoshita Rajapaksa very correctly apologizing to referee Martin for whatever he may have said to result in that 10 meters. But Sajid Saranga got himself isolated and only has himself to blame. It's another match today between Kandy SC and Havelocks, and the last we heard, Havelocks were leading Kandy at Nittavala. Hasn't been a great fortnight for the Kandy team. And Sia with the line out. It's in the corner, and Papi Farrell looks to pick and go, supported by Sasanka Aryaratna. And now Sia looking to come back into this game. Vasaba Senarat that was. And Dylan Soisa now with the tired pass. Robert Malnik steps again. Almost finds a gap. And Kanchana Ramanayaka, it's 2-on-1 here. Anuradha Herath, the try scorer, cuts back in. Rochana Hettiarachi still got it. Good defense though by Navy to get across. And now Nipuna Dev in the run straight into the defense and slows the ball down. Papi Farrell now. Long pass out. Lovely long pass to Sasanka Aryaratna, who steps wrong foots the defense and manages to get behind the line. And now it's a penalty again, which is taken quickly by Farrell. Farrell to Malnik. A lovely step again by Robert Malnik. And Robert Malnik has come on and made a massive difference once again. Outstanding stepping from the Hawke's Bay fullback. And with 2 minutes left, do Sia have something left in the tank? It's 30 points to 24 here at Valisaray, and we are having a thriller on our hands. Kanchana Ramanayaka Looks to take it quickly. He'll take the drop kick even with his bad knee and everything. And it's good. So 30 points to 26. A try could win it for Sia. And after being down and out at half time, Navy's strength and conditioning have let them down as well. And they also look just as tired as is Sia team. But the fresh Robert Malnick and the hard-working Puppy Farrell have really brought this game to light, Shahim. It's been a tremendous performance in the last 10 minutes.
Ishana, this is turning out to be a really interesting game. I think Coach Marika's, along with Shamli Nawaz's tactic to keep Malnick to the second half is paying off for them. And they are within range with 4 points and 2 minutes left to go.
The restarts have also been good for CRNFC. That's one aspect that has changed. Nipuna Devinder again isolating himself. Rajapaksa almost securing a turnover, just not quite. Hasan Di Costa with a long ball out to Rochana Hettiarachchi. Hettiarachchi does the smart thing and puts it to his boot. Riza Mubarak goes back and Hettiarachchi chases. But the fullback puts the ball into the hands of Sia's best player today, Puppy Farrell. And really well stolen there by Rodrondo. Rodrondo has come on and done something really important for his team. And that's the end of the game. 30 points to 26. There was nothing in it at half-time. Sia looked clearly outplayed. And in the last 10 minutes of the game, Puppy Farrell and Robert Malnick, the New Zealand combination, did brilliantly to bring CRNFC back into the game. Navy tired and didn't have enough cohesion once Setefano Takao went off and Halafaihi went off as well. But the local players really should be doing a little better given the names that they've had on this team sheet, Shahim. So Sia would have won quite a few friends here.
Ishanak, although Navy have won, they haven't played to their maximum potential, and Sia turning out to be the far fitter side in this game, doing what they did in the previous 2 weeks and bouncing back basically. But unfortunately for them, they left it a little too far, and end of the day, they fall just 4 points behind China.
Yeah, it was lucky for CRNFC that they had 2 tough games that they came through, Army and Havelocks, whereas Navy have only had a couple of easy games. They've had the Sharks and they've had the Police, who they've beaten very easily. So this is the first real test, and this could have been a banana skin for them.
Ishana could have easily gone the wrong way, but having said that, CR clearly have made a statement from the form they were in last year to the form they are in now, with not much of changes being done. It is great to see players growing individually and as a team, Shanaga.
Well, I'm not sure I can agree about not many changes, Shaim, because they've changed the coaching staff and they've also changed pretty much 12 of their starting 15. So it's paying dividends for CR, and that's all they'll be worried about. So it has been an entertaining game here from Valisara. Keep it tuned into ThePapare.com or check our Facebook site for whatever happened at Nittavala. We had Havelocks leading Kandy the last time we checked on that game. So it's going to be an interesting couple of results in this week for Kandy as well as Navy, who have been given a few jitters by the sides that are pretending. So make sure you join us on thepapare.com for a lot more coverage of this exciting Dialog Rugby League action. We'll be back next week. Until such time, for it's Shahim Singalakshan and myself, Shanaka, it's good night from Valisara.